You're listening to the Backseat Sports Podcast with Zach Diodati and James Troiano. Email us at backseatsports@gmail.com or hit us on Twitter at BackseatZach or at BackseatJ.
That is on Twitter at Backseat Zach and at James Troiano. Troiano.
I always goof up his last name.
You've been his friend for about 12 years.
I know.
So you're a Nottie for not being a good friend.
And I'm not good with birthdays.
Yeah, this is Hottie and Nottie, our first Hottie of the week. Tully, we went over this one earlier, and the Cubs ball girl at Wrigley Field, okay, on Monday's game between the Cubs and the Braves, apparently wrote down her name and number on a little note card and handed it to a Wrigley security guard and had him take it over to a Braves pitcher. Okay, when the video hit the internet of her doing that, that's what everyone assumed she was doing.
Right.
It turns out there was a fan on the first base side stands that wanted her name and number. So she had the security guard go back over to that fan and write down "no thanks" with no number.
Strike out there, buddy. Struck out with her.
Grounded into a double play. Yeah. That was that's not as fun as the original story.
Couldn't even get to first base with her, man.
Now, you got rejected by a girl wearing a baseball uniform. If you look up the video, she is kind of cute, but she's wearing a baseball helmet and, she's wearing the clothes that the guys that you came to see are wearing.
Right.
So it's a little rough. But, hey, she's a hottie for, rolling with the punches there.
Right.
And working that situation out. Our first Nottie of the week is Cole Hamels. Now, it's lovely that James isn't here to argue this one because he would. Phillies pitcher Cole Hamels. I prefer to call him Nicole Hamels. And again, James isn't here to argue that one.
We can do it all day long.
Yeah, and last Sunday, a week ago, this happened at the worst time for us because it was a week ago.
Everything good
tonight,
happens on a Monday.
on Sundays.
Show,
And so he admittedly intentionally plunked Bryce Harper, 19-year-old rookie for the Nationals, in that game last Sunday night, and he got a 5-game suspension. Tully, I know you understand this, but think about it for a second. A 5-game suspension for a pitcher means your next start gets moved back one day. And I hate that. That is such a joke. And there's really no better way to do it. It's difficult. You can't say somebody.
Fine him?
I think they did get fined.
Well, yeah,
he did get fined. I don't think it was anything major. I wish they could just say, hey, one guy on your team has to pitch 5 times before you play again. That's a real 5-game suspension. Yeah. But then that guy could get hurt.
Okay, wait, was he suspended after he had come out and said, I
he said it right after the game. That night, he said, I meant to hit him.
Oh, okay.
So he got suspended for 5 games. I think he's pitched again since then. So there you go.
And that was Monday.
Yeah, our first hottie, our second hottie is Josh Hamilton. We talked to James about him earlier. This dude is on fire. James gave us some of his stats. He's batting like 400. I think he's got 20 home runs.
There's nobody even close, really.
Oh,
it's almost like Wayne Gretzky records. Nobody's even close.
Absolutely. He is on an insane pace. And on Wednesday, against, I believe it was the Angels, he hit 4 home runs in 1 game.
Yeah.
And he also had a double. Like, he only had a double in one of those at-bats after hitting 4 home runs. No one had done that, I think, in the AL ever. May not have my stats there, right? But a lot of pundits, baseball pundits, are calling this the best night in AL history for a batter. Just unbelievable. 4 home runs. At some point, you got to think they're going to intentionally walk him. That's allowed. They can do that if they want. Our second Nottie of the week is Bryce Harper. Look, he just showed back up. Now he got plunked by Cole Hamels a week ago, and then on Friday night's game, he was really, really mad about grounding to short. That happens. If you're a baseball player, you're gonna have to get used to grounding to short every once in a while. Couldn't run out that play and went to the dugout and took one of his bats, slammed it against the wall, and injured himself.
Yeah, you don't have to finish 10th grade science to figure out what's going to happen next.
The bat snapped back, hit him in the face, and he goes back out there with a very bloody left side of the head.
Looking stupid.
Yeah, well, look, at this rate, he's 19. At this rate, he's going to have to retire when he is 24 because he's been flying into outfield walls, making catches, getting intentionally plunked by pitchers, cutting up his face with a baseball bat. The dude is not going to make it past 25.
No.
So that's Bryce. He needs to slow down. Rick Ankiel was out there telling him he needs to chill. The guy that plays center field next to him. Tully, another Nottie is Joey Barton. This is a Queens Park Rangers defender, midfielder out there. And this afternoon, in that legendary, already classic game between Queens Park and Manchester City, he thought that the officials weren't looking, and right on the edge of the 18-yard box, elbowed a City player under the chin and got red carded for that. And that is the worst possible spot to get red carded because you were trying to avoid relegation. This is a huge game.
Yeah.
And the game was 1-1 at that point.
Yeah.
And he elbows a guy in the chin. That is dumb.
I mean, the guy's just
so
dumb.
dumb.
He's every team he's been on, he's done something like that.
So here's what he says to
He's just
himself
idiot.
after he gets red carded. That's not enough for me. This is the last game of the season. I'm going to kick someone in the back of the leg on my way out.
Yeah.
So he's leaving the field as he has to after being red carded, and then kicks another guy completely uninvolved.
Yeah.
Kicks another guy on his way off. What are they going to do? You can't red card him again.
I don't know if you heard Ian Dark, the commentator for that game, with Steve McManaman talking about that, how he is lucky because if they would have, I guess, the other team had not lost or whatever, because Queens Park stayed up.
They did because Bolton
luckily,
lost. I believe.
Yes, luckily.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have done that, that would have been a $30 million red card.
Oh, sure.
Because they would have got relegated.
Yeah.
You have
And they
no
would have
idea.
made the same profits in the
Yeah.
second division or the first division or whatever next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I to be honest though, when he made that extra kick after being red carded, I honestly think what he was trying to do was provoke a City player to do something to him and then get red
I
carded.
mean, that guy honestly is a hooligan.
Well,
He is
it may be a dumb
nut.
idea, but it was if it was a different guy
Right.
with another temper, it may have been dumb enough to work. Someone
Yeah.
could have retaliated.
Oh, yeah.
So credit to the City players, they kept their composure there because someone could have punched him.
If he would have done it to Baratelli, wasn't on the
No, he
on the
wasn't.
pitch at that time. But yeah, if he would have done it to Mario Baratelli, wow,
and if
all
that's
out brawl would have
right, and
ensued
if that's what he
between-
was trying to do, it may have worked.
Yeah.
So I think that was what he was trying to do, but still very, very stupid.
Yeah.
Our last hottie of the week is Tully, Manchester City.
Dude, you know what? I know it's Manchester City, and obviously what happened today, right?
Right.
But the way in which they won,
Yeah.
I can't even because we all know I'm a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan, right?
Yeah.
And the last time City won the league was '68. The last time
Right.
the Leafs won the Stanley Cup was
67.
67.
Yeah.
So 40, 45 years, something like that. Very long time. The way in which it was done, they were down 2-1 going into stoppage time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Ian Dark, the commentator, was literally saying, going into stoppage time, they actually had fans in front of them at the booth crying.
Like it was the end.
Crying.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
because it was, oh my God, not again. Here we go. Crying.
Yeah.
And then within 2 minutes, they had won. I mean, the euphoria
Mm-hmm.
that a fan. I can't. I
But
can't
you're not even a
explain.
complete stranger to that kind of ending because in
No.
the '99 Champions League final,
yeah.
Manchester United did
Ole
that to
Gunnar.
Bayern Munich. Now, some would argue that winning the Champions League is the
Right, but
biggest
like,
the biggest professional thing you can
The
win.
difference between that was a great victory. It was, but the difference between
I
that,
know what you're about to
Manchester
say.
United, yeah, they've
won other
things. We won
things,
things.
yeah,
City has done nothing for all those years.
You're right, because if Bayern Munich had held on and beat you guys in that '99 match in the Champions League, you probably could have said, we'll win something else. There will be
Yeah.
other days.
And we did.
If City had not won today, those fans may have told themselves, it is not our lot in life
No.
to win the Premier
Dude,
League.
I am not joking. I'm being dead serious right now. Today is probably the happiest day
on that
in
side
many,
of Manchester.
many people's lives
Yeah.
for those fans.
Well, Manchester City, that was the happiest place on earth today.
Oh, it was.
So-
and you know what? The city of Manchester, not Manchester City, the city of Manchester finished number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, well,
Manchester, you could say, would be, I guess, the capital of
Yeah.
the football.
Well,
Yeah,
it is
right now,
it
no?
is a lot of other times, but
Yeah.
that was Hottie and Nottie. So for James Troiano, as he joined us earlier, I'm Zach Diodati. Adam Tully with me as always. That's the Backseat Sports Podcast. Whether you listen on iTunes or RadioExiles.com, we really appreciate you listening. We will see you next week.